I guess the right thing to talk about for our cold open this week is that Archer was renewed for season 13.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
13.
Man,
So this will be the first season without Jessica Walter. I'm really curious how they're going to do that, or if they happened to write her out already in season 12. I don't know. There's only a few more episodes coming in season 12, but it sounds like they were kind of, I don't know. I heard some people comment that it seems like they're writing there. It maybe seemed like they were writing her out. Maybe they did that later. I don't know. It seems like it would have been hard to do after she died, but
R.I.P. Sweet Angel.
Yeah, she's the best.
Rough.
But that's crazy. Season 13, and now also it's on FXX, which is like suddenly an adult animation hub, which is weird because now they're replaying. They have replays for their reruns of Simpsons, Family Guy, Bob's Burgers, King of the Hill, Family Guy, and Cleveland Show. Did I say Family Guy? I said it twice.
Yeah, you sure did. You sure
did.
did.
Family Guy deserves to be said twice.
2 families, 2 guys.
All right, let's bring back the Family Guy meter. It's up to 2.
Right.
But and yeah, so that's they've got all of these adult animated shows on FXX now, and they're keeping Archer. I wonder if they'll do any originals in addition to that, or if they'll just be like, we're just going to rerun every adult animated show we have access to.
Which is funny, is just because they just remembered, oh shit, we own all of these.
Yeah.
Let's just play them.
I do think they were also waiting for contracts to expire with other networks and cable networks.
That's still Viacom though, right? Because King of the Hill was on Comedy Central for a little bit, wasn't it? That's still...
King of the Hill was on Comedy Central for a little bit, but I don't know how recently it was. Family Guy just ended at Adult Swim.
But it was already, they put Family Guy everywhere. The shit was on Freeform.
Right, it was on TBS.
It was already on FXX. It was already there. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Crazy.
You guys, Yo-Yo and Ham are in the background, and they're both being cute.
That's true. They are.
Sorry, I got a little distracted because they're so cute.
Here's Ponyo.
Look at your baby. Hi, Yo-Yo. Hi.
Go chase Hamlet. For everyone listening and not watching, I just held up my dog. She's cute as always. Just imagine the cutest dog.
Oh yeah, just picture a dog. She's like a little scruff muffin, and she's so cute.
A scruff. She is a scruff muffin.
She sure is.
That's a good description. There's some good dogs in this season of Archer.
There's a lot.
There's a great dog. There's one of our figures.
Big hug.
Yeah.
Well, let's. I guess that's a good way to cue the theme song and start talking about Archer. Theme song.
You bet it is.
I've been watching them for years. It's always been something that fit with all the animated characters that's doing their own bits. With a fry who's in the future and a Family Guy that sucks. With a father from a hill, a burger family runs amok. The show inspires is the same guy, except he totally say and diverse.
Let's watch cartoons that curse.
Yeah, that's bananas.
That's rough.
What the f*** is up, everybody? Welcome to Cartoons That Curse, the podcast where we talk about cartoons that say swear words. My name is Johnny. I'm here with my co-host, Tariq. Tariq, how you doing today?
Okay. I'm all right.
He's
how
all
you
right.
Doing?
Guys, Tariq is all right. I'm doing pretty good. Mostly good.
That's what matters to me.
Got some video stuff done this week that I was stressed about, and I finished it, and now I feel better. But I still have lots to do, so,
What's gonna happen when you ask me how I'm doing and one day I just say bad?
We're just gonna turn this into Cartoons That Therapy, and we're gonna talk.
Cartoons
we're gonna talk
cartoons
about
that
it.
Counsel.
Yeah, cartoons that
counsel. Okay, but that also kind of sounds like y'all might be public defenders. Just like public defenders and therapists.
Yes, and our first client is our guest, Whitney Van Lanningham.
Yay! I will need you guys to both bail me out of jail someday. I just took that as confirmation that you will, and that you'll listen to me about it and be empathetic afterwards.
That's right. You have a right to an attorney.
And with that, Whitney, how are you today? How you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing pretty good. I decided, as usual, well, I didn't really decide as much as I just compulsively, once again, got violently high. But this time, I'm also drinking because we're talking about Archer, and who am I if not a functioning alcoholic? So I decided that today's the one day it's acceptable for me to advertise just how darn good I am at things, even when I'm shit can wasted. Just kidding. I'm not shit can wasted, but you get the metaphor.
I thought you were for sure about to hold up a bottle of balls.
That's why I froze. That's why I froze.
Fuck, are you fucking kidding me? I goddamn wish. No,
a nice callback to her first appearance when we talked about Rick and Morty season 3, and we all freaked out about balls.
Dude, oh my god, I screamed. It was so good.
You did scream so loud.
I do it frequently, and like I always like when I text you and I laugh really hard at something, I tell you like I just screamed, and like you gotta believe me because I did it last time.
Are you guys the kind of people that if you're laughing really hard, you record the voice note of you laughing and send it? Because I do that.
Oh no,
I've never done that.
That's a really good idea. Though.
That shit is so funny.
That is very funny. I think that I wouldn't, because I kind of also typically like do the thing where like my body collapses when I start laughing too hard. So I'm usually just like, you know, like a little like, so it's like I get sucked into the quicksand of the couch. And so yes, I don't know if I'd be dexterous enough to hit the record button in time to properly capture my cackles.
Well, you should try anyways, because maybe the chaos of you trying to do it might be just as fun.
Good point.
I have this one on my phone that I'm gonna see if I can play it because it's probably the loudest I've ever laughed in my entire life, and the fact that it's documented is really funny. Here it is.
Is that real? That's real laughter?
That was genuine. Like I was dying of laughter.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Oh, I love it.
Dude, that's amazing.
So much.
Maybe we should start doing that, cellos.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm gonna record myself laughing, and then I'm just gonna send them to random people without context.
No context.
No context at all. I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you laughing?
Man, speaking of laughing real hard, Tariq, you gotta. Next time we play D&D, John and I just played D&D together for the first time the other night, and I have like never fucking laughed that hard. You have to play with us next time because you will love it. We were just being so stupid the whole time, and it somehow worked out, and it was just it was fucking great. John was a curmudgeonly wizard named Crumbum, and his whole thing was that he was grumpy, and I can't stop thinking of the name Crumbum. Like it like enters my brain like 4 times a day, like a fucking intrusive thought. Like I'm thinking of getting on medication for it. Actually, like, really.
That's all I wanted when I named my character Crumbum. Is just I hope that this somehow seeps into somebody's brain for at least a month, so they're always thinking about me and my curmudgeonly warlock.
It's killing me. It's killing me that like nobody will ever know how fucking funny Crumbum was that night. I'm so mad. We should have recorded it, but we were just shooting the shit. It was fun. Just chasing dungeons, chasing deep, dank, dark dungeons.
So
you know what? I think it all worked out. It's something that we can share, and everyone can wish. Everyone can just wish that they experienced.
But now it's immortalized. The story is immortalized.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's start talking about Archer season 4.
Wow.
So we've been covering Archer slowly. We started months ago, and then we finally got to season 2 and 3, and then we took a break for Rick and Morty season 5, and now we're finally on to season 4. Whitney, you rewatched season 4 for this, but did you rewatch any other Archer, or did you just jump into season 4?
I just jumped into season 4. I did, however, listen to y'all's season 3 episode, obviously.
Nice. That's just as good.
I'm a fan. So, yeah.
We appreciate you. Archer season 4. So season 3, I think, is my favorite season of Archer. And season 4 is really fun. I had a lot of fun with it, especially like it starts off in such a season 4 feels so different than I remembered. Because they do all these like crossovers and
it's great.
Yeah, and they're kind of like, it's weird how many there are.
Yeah.
Because there's like there's like 2 crossovers, and there's one that's like kind of a crossover, but more of a parody. And they also like introduced new characters this season.
Mm-hmm.
Like Rodney is a big new character, the guy who
out of fucking nowhere, by the way.
And then Ron,
right. Again,
who's introduced
out of fucking nowhere.
Right, but Ron I think is a really funny character, and he's introduced in this one. He's apparently the inciting incident for Archer's whole like, I'm gonna go have amnesia thing. But what I learned moments before we started this podcast is that Ron is played by a guy named Ron Liebman, who was Jessica Walter's actual IRL husband.
Oh,
yeah, and
lovely. I didn't know that.
I know he passed in 2019, but he did this role on Archer. Which is crazy. That's just I thought he's got such a funny voice, and I guess he is an actor too. But I thought he was a really funny character. Ron Cadillac is a funny name.
Ron Cadillac. It's a lot like Sammy Paradise and Dan Flashes. It's just one of those names. It's just one of those names. Yeah, I really want Chelos to be Sammy Paradise for Halloween.
I don't think anybody who's listening knows who Sammy Paradise is.
I don't give a shit, John. I know and you know, and that's what the fuck matters. Shut the fuck up and be Sammy and be old Two Eyes himself. I want it. I want to see it, and I want it so bad.
Lady luck. Well, if you don't know who Sammy Paradise is, look him up. Great man, that Sammy Paradise. Not really, he's awful.
I like that you're telling people to look him up, and they're gonna be like, "Look him up? Like what, Johnny? I should read his Wikipedia?" And it's like, no, you just need to find him.
I did just search Sammy Paradise, and there's a lot of funny images of him on Google, so it worked out. Oh, good stuff.
That's a good name, though.
It's a good name. And so is Ron Cadillac. Sorry, that was what I related that to. My brain's a little all over the place, if you can't tell.
One time, I got a text from a bot that said that the bot's name was Hillary Hill, and I laughed for like 20 minutes.
Oh, that's great.
I think Hillary Hill is the funniest name I've ever heard.
Oh, no, that's fucking great. And I love that that's a bot, too, because it's like some robot thought really hard about that, you know? Like, if you think about robots, like, maybe they're, like, kindergartners, you know, like, they're just starting out, and, like, that robot was like, I'm going to be Hillary Hill. And it was just like,
everybody's like, yeah, good job.
Yeah, like, oh, good job. It's like how, like, when I was in kindergarten, I wanted my name to be Ashley. You know, like, it was probably like one of those things.
It was like a young AI.
Yeah, like a young fresh AI, a little one.
Floppy disk.
And they let it choose its own name. Like,
and it did a bad
that
job.
movie Jungle to Jungle with Tim Allen, where they let the kid like pick his own name, and he chooses cat piss, and his name is Mimi Siku. Like that, but Hillary Hill, but it's an AI.
I did not remember that about Jungle to Jungle.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. His child's name was Cat Piss because they let the child choose his own name when he was 6.
That's a thing. That's just a thing. That's a thing in other movies too. Big Daddy, when he's like, "Hey, Julian, what do you want to name yourself?" He names himself Frankenstein. It's pretty good name. Big Daddy is a good movie. Anyways, we should talk about it.
Fucking love Big Daddy. No, Mom, shut up. All right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is my fault. I keep tangenting, and it's not cool.
No. Okay. I can see this is the fastest we've gotten to the season since we've started doing this podcast.
Last week we talked.
Dude, I totally noticed that because I was like, the other day when I was listening to your Archer season 3, I realized I'd been listening to it for like 27 minutes before you guys said a word about the show. And I was like, well, damn, this was enjoyable, but also, whoa, like I didn't realize I'd been listening to it for that long, and it was just y'all shooting the shit. But it was great. It was very funny.
It's better that way. But we last week we were 3 episodes short because we did Heart of Archness by itself, and so we were like, oh, I hope we have enough to talk about. It turns out we had way more than enough to talk about. We did great. We really nailed it. But Whitney, your punishment for getting us off track is talking about an episode I know you love.
Yay!
The first one, Dugan Risk. Talk about Bobby.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember the first time I watched this, I was just so excited because I was at the height of my Archer and Bob's Burgers addiction, and I like fucking loved revisiting this episode. It's just so fun. It's fun and it's funny, and I love the animation style of the Bob's Burgers characters. It just like, oh god, just looking at them gives me the giggles. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it so much.
I really love that they decided to do this.
Yeah,
that's so fucking weird.
It's so fucking weird, and it's so cool. And H. John Benjamin is the best.
Yeah, and then also that just that like the people from Archer had this idea and were like, "Hey, Lauren Bouchard, can we do this?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, no problem. You can do a Bob's Burgers thing." As much as I love it, I love this episode. I love they cross over. I love seeing the Bob's Burgers restaurant in the Archer style.
I know exactly where you're about to go.
It's something that makes me. It just frustrates me a little. Is that kids not talking out of character for all three of them.
Oh yeah.
all of the kids being there but not talking at all.
And they show up at the end of the season.
I know. I was literally going to say that next. It's so bizarre that at the end of the season, it's like Gene and Louise. But in the beginning, no. Like,
why didn't they just pay them for 2 episodes?
Why didn't they just do that?
Yeah, just have them at least, like, even they only needed a single line each.
Yeah, like a single like they could have done it all in one recording session even.
There's just no way that Gene and Louise wouldn't have had something to say if they watched their new stepdad Bob Archer murder a bunch of people. They would have had a lot to say based on my knowledge of Bob's Burgers.
They do a small character thing with Louise when he shoots him, like she smiles. I noticed that. And I was like, okay, that is a character thing.
That's like Louise would smile about that.
I just feel like they missed an opportunity to have Tina going like the whole time. The whole time it was happening.
Oh, you're right. That would have been so good.
I know it was probably just like a logistics and or like budgetary thing to not have so many guest stars in one episode, but I think it would have gone a long way. But either way, it was still really cool, and I love seeing them in that style. It's great.
I also just really do enjoy that Dan Mintz's voice really is just like that. Like, it's not a character voice. That's just his real voice. And it's so funny.
Well, when they originally made the pilot, Tina was a boy and they cast Dan Mintz. And when they changed the character to Tina, they were just like, well, it's still going to be Dan Mintz.
Yeah. So 100%.
I love it.
I have to tell a story where I brag about our producer, Mikey, for a minute. We did, Mikey was an intern on Nathan For You, a really great comedy show. And we went
that's awesome.
We went to this we went to the rap party and they did like an intern roast, and Mikey whipped out his John Benjamin impression for a minute, which is very strong. And Dan Mintz was there because he's friends with the creators of the show. And he told Mikey how good his John Benjamin impression was, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's
so cool.
Amazing.
So kudos to our producer, Mikey.
I have a tiny Dan Mintz brag too, which is that in like 2012, when I was working at Letterman, I was the human talent intern. So that meant that I booked all of the stupid human tricks, stupid pet tricks, and stand-up comedians. Like, obviously, under my supervisor, I was an intern. I didn't personally. But one of the things that we would do is we would go see like fresh comics on the scene, like stand-ups who weren't famous yet. And so we'd always go to these like random comedy shows. And Dan Mintz was one of the people that I helped book on the show because I was like,
cool.
I fucking love him. I fucking love him. Please, please, please. And so I got to meet him, and I was like, hi, I love you.
You were like, oh, good stuff. What a good cast, those Bob's Burgers. We'll talk about Bob's eventually on the pod. That's a good show.
Oh yeah, sorry, we're just completely derailing.
No, I derailed. I mean, we specifically like that's how this works. Those were two good stories. But this other slight tangent. They should put Bob's Burgers on Disney Plus. It fits. It should be on Disney Plus. Just
I think
just
so.
putting that
I
out
was just
Disney
watching
Plus.
Simpsons yesterday.
They own it.
Yeah. I was
They
just
own it,
watching
and they
Simpsons
own it,
yesterday.
and
I
they have-
know, but it's so crazy to think about that.
The fact that they have
just
all of the
weird.
Simpsons on there it makes no sense that they don't have something like Bob's Burgers on
Right.
there.
Yeah, but this
Yeah.
now means that Tina Belcher is a Disney princess if she gets on there.
Finally.
That's what that would mean.
Oh,
It's about
but
time.
also, it's just us though, because other countries have their Disney Plus has an adult animation section that has
Yeah, it's
everything.
Really?
Like it
I think
has
it's
like
because there's
Family Guy
more
and all that
streaming contracts
Is
here.
the
There's a
United
bunch of streaming
States just
contracts.
trying to
they're dealing
fuck
with.
over this podcast or what?
stuff.
I think it's because Hulu. I think it's because Hulu exists here, and there's a
Oh.
lot of contracts with Hulu in the U.S. streaming that like they can't. I don't know. There's a lot to it, but I think they'll eventually do it because Bob's Burgers is like, it's like it's wholesome like The Simpsons. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
a wholesome family show. Like Family Guy might not fit on Disney Plus, but Bob's Burgers fits on Disney Plus.
Oh my God, can you even imagine Meg Griffin as a Disney princess? No, thank you. No, thank you.
I would appreciate that, but that's just me.
Yeah, it would definitely be the first Disney princess with a beanie. So, I guess I support
Is that true? Yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I mean, like, logistically, Elsa should have been wearing a beanie the whole time. It's cold as
it's
fuck.
fucking brick outside.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck are
Yeah.
you doing? But, like, she
Wow.
didn't, so.
They need to release a special edition of Frozen where they
Where
add
they
in a
dress
beanie.
beanie.
properly.
Fix
Yeah.
it.
Everybody
Fix
just
the
has
movie.
They just have North Face jackets.
Yeah,
on.
they all have on, like,
Yeah.
heavy ass North Faces.
Yeah.
What if
Uh,
they're all
Bob's
just in
Burgers-
80s windbreakers out in.
I love it. I love that too. Bob's
Let
Burgers
it
is
go.
definitely
It's the windbreaker.
it's definitely more wholesome, but at the same time, Linda definitely calls Archer Ike Turner in this.
Yeah.
When he tells her to go in the kitchen, like he yells, and she's like, "Oh, okay, Ike Turner." I was like,
Oh, they got John Roberts to do Linda for this,
Mhm.
which is great.
Yeah.
Love Linda at all times.
Oh man, Linda's the best because she makes up songs like I do. Like, so I really respect a lady who's just constantly making up songs.
I love Linda. Bob's is a good show. We'll talk about Bob's. We'll talk about Bob's eventually. Comment below when you want to hear that. If you want to hear us talk about Bob's Burgers more.
Comment below and say you want to listen to me talk about Bob's Burgers so that they have
That's true.
what do you guys have any other thoughts on this one besides how great the Bob's Burgers stuff is? I really like I love how they implemented that as like him having amnesia because of what happened with his mom. It's the reason is that his mom's got married, right?
Yeah.
It was why he just gives himself amnesia for some reason, which admittedly seems like some of the development we may have expected from season 3 kind of went out the window immediately. The Burt Reynolds episode is so good in season 3, and the whole kind of arc of that is Archer coming to terms with his mom being happy and him allowing that. And this time they're just like, oh, amnesia. He's going to get amnesia as soon as his mom's getting married. But still a good episode premise.
I wrote guess it didn't work out with Bert. I wrote that
Yeah.
in my notes. Yeah.
Yeah, they probably just couldn't get him back, which is a bummer because he was great. An all-time Archer character, to be honest, Burt Reynolds. He's up there. He's really good. You guys got any other thoughts on this episode? Should we moved on to the next one?
I'm good.
I just think Archer has really great season openers. I think
They do.
It's like out of all the shows that we talked about, it's like it might be the best at it so far. Like all of these first ones have always been really, really, really solid.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, and I like this one a lot. I like the Cheryl does the LSD gummies, and they have like a great payoff at the end. Like the end beat is hilarious.
What are they called? Gushy bears or something? What are they?
I'm not even sure. I just know that when I heard LSD gummies, I got very frightened. Like I was like, that shit. I don't know.
And especially because she just keeps eating them. Like that's like one gummy should be enough, Cheryl.
Yeah, it's rough.
I don't think one gummy's enough for Cheryl, to be honest.
Okay, but not like 20 gummies is just dangerous for any human being.
Yeah. All of these people have like the tolerance of oxes, however. Like,
I think they have the tolerance of cartoons.
Yeah. Fine. You're right.
All right, well, let's move on to the next one. It's called The Wind Cries Mary. It has a great guest performance from Timothy Oliphant. It's about an agent going rogue who used to be roommates with Archer, and they're like old friends. And as it turns out, he is super gay for Archer. He's like really into Archer. But it's like they really go out of their way to be like, the only man I'm attracted to is Archer. That's it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I mean, bisexuality in men, so overlooked by society. What a shame.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's bisexual, even if he's only attracted to one man. Yeah. They went far out of their way to specify that it was only Archer.
But don't worry, Middle America. He's still mostly straight. This is just a joke, as being bisexual often is.
I'm
bisexual. I can make fun of us. It's fine.
This episode brings in more Rodney, right? Did they just bring in Rodney a bunch for every episode, the first few episodes of the season? And I don't know, this episode, like the only things that super stand out in this episode were the ending to me and the like bromance that Timothy Oliphant was like obsessed with Archer. But the solution to this episode I wrote down is a ridiculous, where Cyril strips naked and they create a like pulley trap with a fallen tree.
Yeah, she breaks the tree.
It seemed like a bad plan. It worked.
I don't think you should ever submerge your dick in snow. Even if you're a secret agent, even if someone asks you really nice, even if you're about to die, even if there's a big tree nearby. I just don't think, I wouldn't do it. I don't think I have a penis, but I can imagine I wouldn't do it.
I don't think I would either, but also just like the pulley, like Rube Goldberg system they built out of their clothes and a fallen tree barely makes sense. And also like really relies on that guy not understanding at all that they built this like Rube Goldberg machine. Yeah, and then he has to stand perfectly under the fallen tree.
Yeah, I guess it is kind of.
it was some Wile E. Coyote shit. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. But then they crush Timothy Oliphant, and he gets super dead. He gets super dead about it.
Such a bummer.
Yeah. Super dead. Yeah, I just looked up when this episode came out because I was like, what year was it? And so it was 2013. So this episode definitely dropped during like peak, like How I Met Your Mother time and like that whole time where like a dude being gay for another dude is the wackiest punchline. And so like I was like, 2013, that definitely makes sense. That totally makes sense.
I was gonna look up the year because there's a joke a couple episodes later that's fucking rough.
There's a bunch.
There's a couple. No, dude, there was like a couple where I was like, I don't know.
There's one in particular where I said, whoa, like I like audibly like yelled. I was like, that's rough.
There's actually a lot this season. Like I felt like there were more times this season where I was like, whoa, they made that joke. More than the first 3 seasons, which obviously all came out before this. So it was kind of shocking.
No, the season went really hard on what I guess can only be described as early 2010s humor.
Right.
Because in the early 2010s, you could just do this shit and no one would bat a fucking eye. And it's like...
Yeah, but it even feels like this stuff... But it's weird because it feels like this stuff would have been like 2000s type of humor. It feels
I
like even this
know.
earlier in the 2010s, they would have been moving away from it. But for Archer to have not really done that much of it in the first three seasons,
and they just
Yeah,
throw it in
and
there.
then all of a sudden they're just like, what if we take a hard left? Like,
Right.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, there's a few that I remember being like, "Oh, this doesn't age well. That's a little shocking." you
Yeah,
know?
no
But
thanks.
yeah, I don't know. This is not. This was a lot lower on my list for the season. Do you guys have any thoughts on the win? Any other thoughts on the Win Cries Mary? Anything else stand out to you?
The Lana calls Archer. That voicemail is so fucking funny. He says, "Lana, listen."
I love that they keep going with the voicemail gags in this season, which started last season, which
Right.
feels like it was just a thing throughout Archer, but it started in season 3. And I like how they subvert it in this season, which I don't even remember which ones they do it, but they have ones where like Archer is calling Mallory and she's like, "Do you think I'm stupid? I know this is just another voicemail." And he's like, "I'm calling you."
I would obviously, like I already said like twice, I was listening to y'all season 3, and I really badly wanted to tell you guys my fake answering machine from 7th grade.
Oh, tell us.
Please.
So when I was in the 7th grade, on the life of me, I can't even fucking remember why we thought this joke was so funny. But my friend Cassie and we recorded my voicemail together because I created this character. And so my voicemail was, "Hello, my name is Sebastian. I play in a punk rock band. I play the flute. If you are interested in placing me in your punk rock band, I am available between the hours of 3:35 and 6:42. Thank you. Goodbye." And that was my voicemail for it was my voicemail until I think I had to like switch services in high school.
Jeez.
And my mom fucking hated it, and all my friends fucking hated it, because this was also like the early 2000s when you couldn't just like press a button to skip someone's voicemail. You had to listen to the whole entire thing.
How many people do you think just didn't leave voicemails because they thought they called the wrong number?
I don't know. All my fellow 7th graders always thought it was very funny, so they would usually leave me voicemail. But I think that's because we were 12. Yeah, my peers loved it. My parents not so much.
I'm gonna even though I'm 24, I'm gonna take Johnny's old one about the used towels.
Yeah, the used towels. Honestly, fuck it. I should redo Sebastian. Although I did a thing as an adult where I decided I don't want people to leave me voicemails anymore. So I just let all my voicemails stack up and I never deleted them. And now my voicemail inbox is full so that no one can ever leave me a fucking voicemail ever again. So that's where I'm at in my life, but maybe I should change my outgoing message back to Sebastian. Spice things up, punk rock
Do it
style.
I'm gonna call you and hope for Sebastian every day. I'm gonna call you.
Hope and
Pray that I can hire Sebastian to be in my punk rock band. I need a flautist.
You need one. I thought that was the funniest joke when I was 12. I was like, "This is comedy gold." No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's not.
I was watching too much SNL as a 12-year-old. Like, I was like, I can make a character. I could do a bit.
You were just 12 years old.
Right.
Well, let's move on to Legs, episode 3.
Legs.
What do you got?
What's the ending beat to this? Because I just remember what happens after. Something I should have wrote it down. I forgot what happens at the end, but all I know is there's like I know there's a sharp cut to everybody driving in the car, and they give Lana this really worried face that I've never seen like any character on the show have. Like they made her like she looks super scared. Like in a set, whatever I can't remember for the life of me what the ending beat is, but whatever it is, that they sell that moment with that face.
Yeah, I remember it now, and it was kind of problematic actually. It's like the whole reveal with Troy and Archer of the end of the episode, which does not go over well. You remember? I don't even want to talk about it. It's so gross.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, it
Yeah,
was pretty rough.
it's like the reveal that it's no good.
I just remember laughing at the face they gave Lana because the drawing was
Right.
so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. Okay, now I
Yeah,
remember
for
what it
sure.
was.
Well, let's move on to Legs.
Legs.
Which is another episode that I like. Like the thing I remember most about Legs is Rodney. That he was like the standout to me in Legs. There's a lot of Rodney in this one. But I do like that they keep bringing back bionic stuff. Like keep giving people bionic legs or make them cyborgs. I guess they differentiate in this one. But what do you guys think about Legs? How did you like this episode?
I like Legs.
I
like
did.
You like Legs?
Very funny.
Yeah,
I really
Tell me why you like
fun.
Legs, because it was very forgettable for me.
Really?
I love the concept in general. Like you said, like I love like just the concept of wanting to give Ray the robot, and then they're like, man, they're fucking killing Ray. Like at a certain point, there's just blood everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's like all over the room. I really wrote. I put around the end of the episode, I wrote, "Bro, they're killing Ray." And then my next note says, "Never mind," because he's like, I think the next shot was him like doing a jig because he had his legs
like a boop, and then he just like can walk.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, I guess they. Oh, okay. So first of all, Mallory clearly likes Ron because he's racist. Clearly,
Yeah.
absolutely so. And then they flash back, and
He's like, does this one have a flashback?
Yeah, when he when he's like, I'm going to the club and it has a lot of Negroes and jazz. My jaw fell to the floor. I see Negroes and
jazz.
There was a lot this season.
What the hell?
Yeah. I don't know, man.
And then isn't his response like, I'm actually a big fan?
I might say a big fan of Negroes and jazz. Yeah. Fam.
Oh my god. But isn't that also that's also another, there are a lot more flashbacks to Mallory just being a horrible mom, because that's in the middle of a flashback of like Archer needing to go to the hospital and the doctor's there.
Is that
and she's like, instead I'm gonna go to the jazz club. Yes, which is a callback because they established that earlier already. So it's like part of another thing that we'd already knew happened. Pretty messed up. Archer had a weird childhood.
That shit was fucking rough. But they do, because you know how every episode has the jokes that they like, the running joke of the episode that they call back to a few times, and the one for this one is then why'd you ask? Like they'll say something like the elevator stuff, like where Ray's like, is the elevator broken? And like he's going back and forth with the dude and the dude doesn't hear him. And so like Ray's just finally like until the dude's just like, huh? He says, the elevator. He's like, oh no, it's broken. I know. And why'd you ask?
Yeah.
They do that a couple times. It reminds me of there's a scene I haven't even seen School Days, but there's a scene in School Days that I know because my friend Steve always mentions it. It's two guys. They're at like a restaurant, and they're talking to the waitress, and they ordered chicken, and she says, "You want white meat or dark meat?" And the guy says, "I want white meat." So his friend answers for him and says, "Oh, he wants white meat. We don't have any white meat." Then why'd you ask? Like, and every time I hear the why'd you ask, I always think of that bit. But they do that a couple of times in this, and I like that. That's good here.
That does seem to be like a recurring joke style this season. They do that a lot, where they're like, but and I like that Archer continues to like find new things to recur, because it's like, you know, obviously it can't just be constant callbacks, but to build new things that become callbacks is good. You know, if they were still just constantly calling back, if like all they were doing is calling back Danger Zone, then like it would get old. It would get old. But they're always coming up with new stuff, which is good. Which is honestly, I think one of the part of the legacy of Archer is like even down to the idea that they did Archer Vice after this and then did the Dream seasons. Like the whole show is sort of constantly trying to evolve and stay fresh, which I think is great. It's good. More shows should strive to do that. This is tangentially related to what I just seasoned. I just seasoned y'all with a little Archer info. So I was on the Archer wiki, and I didn't realize that the Archer fan base divides Archer into three different like eras. They have Classic Archer, which is seasons 1 through 7. They call that Classic Archer.
Jeez.
And then Dream Archer, which is seasons 8, 9, and 10, which is all of the coma seasons, Dreamland, Danger Island, and 1999. Okay. And then everything else after that they call Modern Archer.
That's funny.
So yeah, it's weird. They've already I guess the show's been on long enough that it makes sense, but it doesn't feel like the term Classic Archer should be a thing yet. Maybe I'm just getting old.
See, because I was my thought process was, this was the last, at least in a row, like normal season, right? Because it's a Vice after this.
Vice is after this, but season 6 and 7 are kind of more normal.
Oh, okay. I guess in my head, I'm like in a row, right? Before they did, that Vice was like the first time they did something like that, but like. Yeah, I guess it's 6 and 7. They just kind of go back. I can't remember honestly. So.
Actually, I do guess season 7 did have a bit of a change because 6 pretty much goes back to spy stuff, but then 7 they move to LA and they do and they become PIs. They do start the Figgis agency and become private investigators. so there is a little bit of a change there, but it is, like similar. It's still similar. Yeah. And season 6 is finally the first season where they're like, well, we can't call it our ISIS anymore.
Yeah.
We're going to get rid of the name.
Another like major thing about this show.
Yeah. You know what? The terrorists should have to change their name. Archer had it first.
Yeah, exactly. Make the terrorists change. I think if we get all the celebrities to sing Imagine at the terrorists, they'll change their name.
Yeah, let's get the celebrities to make a new Imagine video.
Yeah.
Imagine there's no ISIS. All right, we're moving on. We're moving on
before I let John sing even more of that song.
Yeah, or John Lennon's estate sues us.
Let's get Sarah Silverman on the phone, man. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Such a bummer. I like Sarah Silverman. I can't believe she was in that. All right. Legs. Anything else about legs? Guys, does this episode have legs?
Does this episode have legs? Is that what you're asking?
There's some legs in it, all right. There's a couple.
There's some legs.
I do love Pam in this. I love that she's just, red beer wasted, and
Pam is so good in this season.
Doing her dang thing. Yeah, Pam is peak goodness.
Pam, season 3 is finally when Pam like evolves into this Pam, and this Pam is like they're just fully embracing her. Like, here's Pam.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You know what? Sorry for a small tangent. Our first Simpsons tangent. I was watching The Simpsons the other day and I thought of Archer immediately because there's a joke in season 3 where Archer, where Pam is like, Archer wants to see how many pool balls Pam can fit in her mouth.
Right, yeah.
And she goes like, my record is 3 or whatever. I was watching Round Springfield, and when the lawyers come to help Bart, Lionel Hutz is like, this is so-and-so. He can fit 3 billiard balls in his mouth. And he opens his mouth and he's got 3 billiard balls.
Okay, yeah.
Like, an Archer connection. Yeah. And that's all. That's all I wanted to say.
I forgot about that.
All right, well, let's move on to Midnight Ron, which is a good parody title. And like the first one where we really get to know Ron, which I like. It's like a Ron Archer adventure. Archer is stuck in Canada because I love the scene when he drunkenly burns his passport. Yeah. That is maybe the drunkest we ever have seen Archer. He was so drunk in that scene. And it's super funny. But I love I just like this. I like this episode. Like Ron, like Mallory's mad at both Ron and Archer, and Ron just goes to try and help Archer. But we get all of Ron's backstory. I like that they kind of bond over this adventure. And I think Ron's a funny character, and I like his backstory a lot, that he used to steal cars, but now he went legit and bought a used car dealership.
And I love it too, because it's great that, us as the audience and Mallory both just like have no fucking idea that this boring ass dude is secretly so cool.
Right.
And I love that. And I love that about Ron Cadillac. I think it's nice.
Ron Cadillac. My real name isn't Ron Cadillac.
Yeah. No shit. Yeah.
Oh, it's good. This one made me laugh a lot. I like it's just like a border hopping adventure. I guess there's kind of two border hopping adventures this season.
Yes,
but,
there are.
But a border hopping adventure is pretty. I think it's pretty fun, and I don't know. I don't know what else. I just liked learning more about Ron. I laughed a lot learning about Ron, and I like that Archer was just like, yeah, she's gonna see us all buddy. That'll piss her off. He just wants to make his mom mad.
I know.
Tariq, you got anything else about Midnight Ron you like?
I got one thing I noted was that when Archer was calling everybody to send him $1,000, I think the last person he asked was Lana, which I thought was funny that he picked Lana last.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought that was important to note. And I don't have the context written down, but I remember it. I just think that it's funny that all I wrote down was chlamydia.
That was.
I know why I wrote it, but I just think it's funny that that's all I wrote.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's super funny. God, Cheryl is a weird character.
She sure is. I love Judy Greer more than anything.
This whole cast is so good.
Yeah, they are for real. This is the one that has that joke that I said that was really rough. I don't even remember the whole context of it. It's not even just a joke. The back half.
all of the back half with the with the truckers who they're like, yeah, it's like the butt of the joke is that they're all cross-dressing truckers or whatever, and there's just like a lot of like trans language jokes about them in that sequence, and it's just like, oh man, this feels like
at a
really
certain
Archer season 4.
It was like a little uncomfortable for a while, but then I think the part that made me say whoa was when Archer said like the T slur, and I was like, whoa, like I was like, all right.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yep. Yeah. I forgot that was this episode. That back half holds up poorly.
That's why I wanted to look up what year this was.
No, same. That's why I looked it up, because I was just like, a lot of this stuff is like real dicey.
Yeah. It is just, again, I know I said this before, but it is so weird that like there's nothing quite this bad in any of the first 3 seasons. And there's a bunch of like, whoa moments in season 4. Yeah. Well, let's move on then to viscous coupling episode. Where are we on 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Viscous coupling. Okay, so this episode made me kind of sad. This episode made me real bummed, and that is because the way they've moved Katya's character in this season makes me sad.
The plot is so like it's sick, like it's so rough. That's one of my 3 notes. Like, why did she do that to him? It's so rough.
Yeah, she obviously this is following up the season finale of season 3 where Barry's stuck, but also it turns out this is all just a plan for like Katya to keep like breaking Archer's heart.
Yeah.
Which seemingly was not the point before. Like it was like the previously, like Katya never would have known. Like in the first time we meet Katya, and they get married.
Mm-hmm.
Katya would never have expected that she was going to become like a cyborg or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that was all genuine. And then when she comes back, she's really into it. And it's weird that they like, once she moves on with Barry, now she's just kind of villain. She's just the villain. She's just become the villain. And it bums me out. Obviously Archer is a douchebag. So, you know, it's like, it's weird to see him simp for someone. But,
I know. Yeah, that's true.
But it is like, it's a bummer because Archer loves her. He fucking loves her. So it makes me sad that it's all just them fucking with his emotions.
Yeah. I guess though that is a different feeling that I had this time around watching this season, where I guess probably just because I'm older and I'm so exhausted with men's shit. I just am. The audacity of men has just run me ragged. But I used to have an easier time feeling sorry for Archer. And at this point, everything he does, I'm just like, you're the fucking worst and you deserve every bad thing that happens to you. Like, and I find myself getting like more like, fuck you, you know, so like so watching this episode, I didn't really feel sad. It was a bummer. It did suck, but I was also just like, but you're such a bad person.
I get it.
I can't feel bad for you. Like, I just can't.
I get it.
I don't know. I get it for sure, but I think watching through the whole show is like, the show's kind of about, not to like excuse Archer's actions, but but the show is about how like the generational trauma from his horrendous mother has made him into the worst person. And so
obviously you're preaching to the choir. I don't have a dad. Look at me. I'm chugging a beer on a fucking podcast right now. Do you think my life turned out the way that I wanted it to?
I don't know. That sounds pretty cool, dude.
Yeah, it sounds pretty rad to me.
No, you're right. It is cool. It's, you know, I'm just poor. But you know, no, I do understand all of like the past trauma stuff. And trust me, nobody understands that more than me. But at the same time, I just have a little less patience than I used to this time around.
What I was going to say was like that this, especially having rewatched the first two seasons, like one of the things that makes this story particularly heartbreaking is because of how Archer changes in the previous episodes with her. Yeah. And so like the
Katya episodes were really sweet. I know. Yeah.
And absolutely. So like these are the moments, like, especially when it has to do with Archer and Katya, where you feel like, oh my God, like, Archer can be not horrible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He can be
sure. And
so for that to then flip into like, oh man, he's going to be horrible again. Yeah. You know, that's why, I guess that's why it bums me out. But also like Katya, is it like, I mean, we'll talk about it soon. There's another episode with Katya later, but like Katya, it feels like something flips in Katya's character.
Yeah.
Like in these episodes too, where all of a sudden she's just like fully villainous. You know, she's just like the head of the KGB and a villain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And that bums me out, not just because Archer is sad, but because like, oh, I loved Katya, and now she's bad.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely felt that too, for sure.
It is like, but it's a good episode. I do think it's a good episode. Overall, I like the following up of the Barry stuff. But I guess the one thing that I do like, even though I don't like that Katya's like become the villain, is that she is now superseded Barry, and Barry's like the sub. Like Katya's like in charge now, which is like, okay, good. Barry sucks, but Barry's funny, but he sucks. You guys any other thoughts on this episode?
We get a lot of these episodes that start out with like just how much everybody hates Archer.
Yeah.
A lot of episodes that start out like that. Like this one is literally just like, everybody, like, he's just like, hey, you want to go get a drink? Nah, fuck out of here. Like, it's like, damn. Like, that's like the whole like first scene pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I noticed that. But and I think that's what like that's part of what makes like what happens to him late in the episode. It's like, damn, man, what? Like, but you know, I don't know. It like, I think the cool thing about the show in general is that they like molded like such like real human characters to the point where like you can have like nuanced conversations about whether or not you feel bad for them or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
for sure.
I think that's probably I think that's for the better.
Absolutely,
For sure.
man.
Is this the episode that reveals that Lana and Cyril are back together? Or is that
Yeah. Wait, is it? I could have sworn I wrote that in my notes. Wait. It might not be this. I think it is this. It is this one because when he's trying to ask everybody to the bar again, he goes to Lana last,
and he walked.
And then she keeps saying no. Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it is that.
Yeah, that's. I think that was an interesting development. Obviously, it feels like there was a specific purpose for that development, which I guess we'll talk about within the next few episodes. But I thought that that was an interesting move with those characters, and it felt very short lived. Like it's kind of just in the background of this, and it's kind of just like it's almost just this through line that's just like we're gonna confirm that Cyril and Lana don't work well together.
Yeah,
and we're gonna just reestablish that it doesn't work. But it also kind of starts to. I think the purpose was to drive Lana and Archer closer together because
it was.
Yeah.
But it was kind of weird for me just because it just kind of came out of nowhere. Like they didn't. There wasn't. It's a funny bit, but there wasn't like a lead into it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Other than the fact that just like over the last 2 seasons, Cyril and Lana have been like very alone. You know what I mean? Like, it does feel like they at least were. That was pretty established, even though they didn't necessarily hint at any sort of like reconnection between the two. But I do like that they very firmly established like immediately, like Lana says something like the ground rules for this whole arrangement so carefully negotiated. And like there's a lot of baggage going on in this relationship that they've like recoupled up, which feels correct. Like I imagine there would be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sense.
But it's pretty interesting. Yeah, you guys any other thoughts on this one?
Nah.
Cool. All right, let's move on to viscous coupling. No, that's the one we just did. One spittin'.
Yeah.
One spittin'. This is the episode where Archer gets bit in the taint by a snake.
That sounds so bad, dude.
Yep, it sounds awful.
That just sounds really bad, and I don't want that to happen to me. And frankly, I don't want it to happen to either of you.
Well, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thought.
You know,
yeah, truly.
I care about you guys, and I care about your taints, and I don't want them to get bit.
You're the nicest guest we've ever had. No guest has ever told us that.
No guest has ever come on and told you that they care about your taints. Well, I'm gonna be the first.
You think Man of 1,000 Thoughts would show a little compassion, but I didn't know.
Oh my god. Oh, that's a good way to start this one. I really like this episode because of the like near-death flashback stuff. That stuff is crazy.
Yeah.
It's really wild that like I just like the way they explore all of Archer's like traumas and horrible upbringing. And you learn some crazy shit. Like it's pretty insane. Like the whole revelation that Archer was like going to be a professional lacrosse player, but got shot by a crazy stalker. And that ruined his like potential career is crazy. Like you kind of knew there was a lot of crazy stuff going on in his past, and we've seen little hints of it, but that's definitely like the biggest, most traumatic one, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, the dog birthday party thing I thought was pretty fucked up. If we have to rank Archer's most traumatic childhood moments, I think that would be my number one.
Dog birthday party.
Not saying that I wouldn't choose Pugsley over anyone any day, but that one It caused me to shed a little tear on the inside.
Duchess. That is like a funny through line. That was established in the pilot that she loved that dog more than anyone.
That's why I personally believe that that's the most fucked up. That's just my opinion, though.
Not even just established in the pilot, but established in the cold open of the pilot. It's one of the first things they reveal. It's crazy. But yeah, I like the way. Is this parodying a movie? This has got to be parodying a movie, right? Let me look at this. I'm sure it is. The way that it's like.
I can tell you.
Oh, Mikey, what's it parodying?
Yeah.
So Once Bitten, when he goes to heaven and he's in the gray tracksuit, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that is Heaven Can Wait, starring Warren Beatty. Really, really fun movie. It was later remade with Chris Rock and was called Down to Earth.
Oh, yeah, Down to Earth.
Oh, Down to Earth was fucking great. I loved that. I rented that from Blockbuster so many times.
I feel like Down to Earth was a movie I remember seeing the trailer for, and as a kid was like, I can't wait to see that movie. And I don't know if I ever saw it. Maybe I did. Maybe I just don't remember much about it. I remember.
Well, it's very good.
Wasn't he doing? And he's doing stand up as the old rich man, right? He's gonna crush people with his wallet.
He's a comedian because in the Warren Beatty version, he's like an athlete, and then he dies, and then they're like, "Oh, we made a mistake. You shouldn't have died. So we'll put you in somebody else's body." And so he has to try to be an athlete in somebody else's body. And so they did it with comedy, where Chris Rock has to, play the Apollo. And
No, you just reminded me.
Like
my mom
person.
did show me Heaven Can Wait because I rented Down to Earth so many times that she was like, you should see the original. And I was like, okay. I totally forgot about it. Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful Warren Beatty reminder.
It's a nice gray tracksuit.
It's a nice gray tracksuit.
It's a great look.
He does look good in it. He didn't like it, right? He said he didn't like it.
He said he hates hoodies.
He hates hoodies. That's right.
Wait, fuck off.
I am
Hoodies are the fucking best. Yeah, that's offensive.
My cartoon wears a hoodie.
You could only say that you hate hoodies in 2013. You could not say that shit now.
Yeah, and I mean, like...
Another problematic joke out of Archer.
And he had a zip-up hoodie on, you loser. Put a pullover on. That's probably why you hate it.
Oh, man. I really liked that whole aspect of the episode, though. The whole, like, going back through his life and looking through all of, it's looking through his history and, like, the things that made him the way he is. Especially because we've gotten that in small doses, but this is the first time that like kind of a whole episode has been about it. And it's really good. I really, really like this episode.
I also like it. It's nice.
It's nice.
I thought this one was was fine. It is like low on my end, but I do appreciate all the stuff that it does. I'm sorry. I don't know. I think also it might be because of the rate in which I consume these episodes. This was right before I took like an hour break. So maybe I needed that. Maybe if I took it before, I probably would have enjoyed it more. But
right.
Yeah, I don't. But the thing is that like I think overall that this season is really good. So I don't think that there's a bad one in here anyway. So even like my lower ones, I still think are like good, and I still think this one is good. So
hell yeah. Well, with that, let's move on to Live and Let Dine with Anthony Bourdain. Rest in peace.
Dude, R.I.P. This one was so fucking great. I forgot that this one was season 4. And so when I forgot
this one existed.
I got to it and I was so delighted. I was like, damn, this season has Bob's Burgers and Anthony Bourdain. Like, I was like, I'm so fucking lucky that they picked me for this episode. this season, like I was so stoked. I fucking loved this episode. I completely forgot it was a part of this season. It's
smart because it's like it's weirdly like a crossover slash parody, but it's not really. It's like
because it's a parody of Gordon Ramsay,
right? Exactly, but using Anthony Bourdain
doing a parody of Gordon Ramsay, which is very bizarre and also fucking great.
He's really funny in it, and I also just like the premise, and also the ultimate reveal that the only reason there was like a fake threat was that
because she wanted to eat there.
she wanted to eat there. She just wanted a table at the restaurant, which is like, there's a lot of stuff like that about Mallory this season. The next episode has one of those as well. There's a lot where it's just like, I mean, they do that throughout the show, but it's always just like, oh, Mallory just did something very selfish for money or for herself.
But like
or
that
for
just
what?
gave me the idea that next time I want to get you to come get pretzel bites with me at that restaurant by my house, I'm going to make up a fake emergency just to get you out here. And then you're going to be like, holy shit, oh my God, are you okay? And I'm going to be like, yeah, let's get pretzel.
John, I need a ride to the hospital. I'm at the Pretzel Bite restaurant.
Yeah, Brett is also dead. Brett's already dead. I need a ride to the hospital. I don't want to pay for an ambulance, but okay, the hospital's this way, and then I just take you to the Jack in the Box parking lot where the Pretzel Bite restaurant is.
Well, now it's not going to work. So.
No, it still is.
It might.
It might work. We'll see.
Dude, I'm gonna just lie so convincingly that like there's gonna be no way you can say no to rushing over.
Just sobbing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be hysterical. Call him on fucking FaceTime, sobbing, like mascara, just all of it.
You're
yeah.
committed.
That's when you
come to this restaurant with me.
That's when you bring out the voice note, because after you get off FaceTime, you can just
Yes. Yeah, and then I start sending him voice notes of me just crying.
Yeah. That would get him.
Well, maybe it will work. Maybe it's gonna work.
I think it's gonna work.
Maybe this is gonna work out great. I really liked seeing. This is kind of a thing that I started to realize as the show went on more and more, is like I like seeing all of the characters from the agency in new work settings. And that partially started because I liked Archer Vice, and then I also liked when they became PIs, and then they started doing the themed seasons. But even before which I've never even watched, even before the space season came out, I constantly thought about how much I wanted to see the Archer crew, but like as the crew of like a Star Trek starship. I was like, oh my God, like that, like there's the inter-office dynamics would be so fun in so many different settings, which obviously the writers ultimately saw as well, because they do so many episodes like this, and they do so many, like they started doing the themed seasons. But this is a specific one where I'm like, oh man, they probably could have done a whole season, or at least like a few episode arc where they're trying to run a restaurant instead. You know what I mean? Like there's like the dynamics between the characters work so well for almost any scenario like that. So this is a fun one for me, and for that reason, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I like the format change, even like especially like in the cold open, with like they're doing all the stuff with like the camera. And that's how I really like this. I like this with these characters.
Yeah, and they're playing it like it's the reality show, like it's Hell's Kitchen or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, that stuff with the bowl in the opening is so funny. Like when they keep dropping
the bowl,
and it's such good sound design too, because you know exactly what it is, and it's like spinning, and it's like it's like a full 15 seconds of it spinning, and then Archer's like, "Whoops!" Like it's just like he says it after it stops.
Yeah, it's so funny.
It's so good. I love those jokes.
Oh, and, we talked about it earlier, but like there's a lot of animals this season, and one of them is the fish. I think and it emotes a little bit. Which, like, they do that, too, with, like, a couple of the other animals. But, like, she's like, don't look at me like that. And the fish is just kind of like this. Like, it's...
Yeah.
I think that's really funny, too. I like that they play around with that. Because the show is animated, so they can do whatever they want. And I like that they play with that.
Me, too. There is a lot of animal stuff in this show.
Yeah,
this whole season, there's a lot of animals, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of animals in this season. Even though they didn't show the cobra that bit his taint, there is a cobra.
Yeah, we know that there's a cobra, and thanks to Cyril's perfect description, we can all picture it in our little minds.
They like, even from the beginning though, like I guess that's kind of an established thing with Archer and animals. Like Archer has such a weird connection to animals, but that's established in the pilot when they flash back to like he wakes up and there's a pug in his bed.
Pug!
And he's just like, and he's like, why the fuck is there a dog in my bed? And then they flash back, and when he's drunk, he's like holding it, and he's just like, no, because you have to be okay with it, because this pug is the coolest pug ever.
Yeah.
and it's like his name is Abelard, I think. Abelard the pug. But yeah,
that's
like
pretty much exactly how I act when I'm drunk. I just walk around. Listen, though, he's the coolest one ever.
Do it again, Abelard. And then he barks. He goes, that's putting on the Ritz, man. It's so good.
Wait,
I love
speaking of Ritz, I think it's so funny that Ron just carries around crackers and jelly.
Yeah,
that shit is so funny.
And and I also love that Mallory is like, I told you not to do that. Like, they were just in my tuxedo from last time.
Yeah, from last time. That was the best.
It's so funny.
When I lived in New York, I was always wearing a fucking coat because obviously it's freezing. But obviously I would also always be snacky. And so I would just put like cookies in my pockets a lot of the time. And I would be walking around with cookies in my pockets. And actually it saved someone's life one day because this girl was like, fuck, my blood sugar's low and I'm diabetic and I don't have my meds. God. And I was like, bitch, I got a pocket cookie. Here you go.
That's amazing. Everyone should carry cookies around for that reason.
No, they really should. It just loose cookies in your pocket, and then like at the end of the night when you go home, you have to like dump all the crumbs out of your jacket. It's really fun. It's like
or you could just keep the crumbs in there for later.
Or you just keep the crumbs in there to grow mold inside the damp, wet darkness that is your coat pocket in the winter in New York. Fuck that.
I like how everybody has a story about why they keep certain things on them, and like yours is cookies, mine's is like money.
I wish mine was money. Let me tell you that.
One time, because my grandfather used to always say, like, even if I had like my card on me, he'd always tell me to keep money in my pocket, like paper money. And I never really understood the value of that until this one day where it was like fucking like, I don't know, like 10, 15 degrees. And it was early in the morning. We all had to get to school. And I was at my bus stop waiting for the city bus. And one of my friends comes by. He doesn't even fucking live by me. So that's why I was confused while he was walking past me. And he was, because he lived like 10 blocks down. And he's like, yeah, I don't have any money, so I'm walking to school. And his school was like, he had another 30 minutes ahead of him. Like if he kept walking, said I had $1. I had $1 in my wallet, and I gave him the $1, and he didn't have to die. And ever since then, I always kept money in my pocket.
Dude, that's a lifesaver too. That's just as life-saving as cookies, man.
You guys save people's lives with the shit in your pockets. I gotta start carrying more stuff in my pockets.
Yeah, John. What's interesting about you?
Have something in your pockets, man.
Yeah, what the fuck is in your pocket? You know, like it's like the what's in your wallet commercial, but it's what's in your pocket.
What's in your wallet? Crackers and jam.
Yeah.
In your tuxedo pocket.
Yeah. Oh man. Good stuff. Okay, so I will say this is not this then so then the reveal at the end of the episode that Anthony Bourdain was trying to kill this guy the whole time is pretty good. Pretty good reveal. And but then he just gets killed by Katya. He's flying off with Katya, and he does another bumper, and she just kills Anthony Bourdain, Chef Man. Why is Katya so mean now?
She's a mean lady now. We don't like her anymore. She's not our friend anymore.
But I liked her. I liked her before.
Yeah, but that's not our fault. She's being toxic. Okay, we just have to let her go.
This is rough.
I want her to be better. I just want her to be nicer.
I understand.
Why is she so mean? All right. let's move on. You guys have any other thoughts on Live and Let Die?
Nah, it was good. I liked it.
Good episode. Thumbs up from me.
Yeah.
Thumbs up from John. Okay, Coyote Lovely. This great title.
True.
This is the episode where they're trying to stop a caravan of immigrants from entering the country, And you also find out that Lana is super anti-immigrant.
Dude, which is crazy because, okay, so Brett and I have been rewatching Scrubs lately as like our background show, like when we're like cleaning the house or like doing other things and we're not really paying attention. So that's been like our background show. And there is a full-on episode where Elliot admits that she's a Republican, where she just straight up says it, and I'm like, you could do that in the early 2000s. Like, you used to be able to say that you're a Republican and like it could be funny, like it could be considered. Now it's just horrifying.
Yeah, they really lean into like the specifics of why she's like so against it, which, you know, admittedly is like, there's like, I mean, that's also not like being anti-illegal immigration isn't just a Republican thing. Like there's a lot of Democrats who are like, they should come the right way.
Sorry, I just meant it was a similar vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But it is like, but it is like a surprise. It was a surprising one. It doesn't, and they kind of lay that out in the episode where Archer's like, wait, Lana, you're anti-immigrant? Weird.
Yeah. How are you?
Yeah. This is another good, just like, I mean, this is just another episode where Archer is just fully selfish and derails the mission for the sake of himself, which, as it turns out, the twist was that that's what they expected him to do. Yeah. There's a lot of like twists this season. I feel like they do a lot of twist endings
this season. You're right.
They do it in Viscous Coupling. They do it in Live and Let Dine. They do it in this one. There's a lot. They do a lot of twists. But I loved the way Archer bonds with like all of the immigrants who he's like kind of helping, but really just being selfish about. And I don't know, there's like all those funny moments between them. And like, I love when the old lady pulls out the gun and like shoots the cop, the border patrol who's trying to pull them over.
Yes.
There are a lot of funny moments like that. I like the visual of them having handcuffed the two border patrol agents together so that they're hugging.
They're hugging.
I like that too.
Quick little border patrol snug, BP snug.
And also just like
BP snug.
BP snug.
It counts, but BP snug, you know what I mean? Like
in parentheses.
Yeah.
BP snug.
Small print, yeah.
They can be snug as a treat, but also
as a little treat.
But I also like the visual of just so many people in that station wagon. There's so many people in that station wagon. That's really funny. You guys got any thoughts? How do you feel about Coyote Lovely?
I really liked it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was fun. Nice time.
What's that?
Fun, nice time. Agree. Whitney Van Lanningham says fun, nice time.
I agree. I like this one too. I think Cyril slapping Archer was like that was like a tense moment for me. Just like that one brief second of like Archer trying to process like what just happened. I thought was like I thought that was really tense enough to note.
For sure. Yeah, and then and then like the big twist. I guess the big twist ending. I didn't really understand how the twist worked, to be honest, because like the twist was that they were doing it on purpose. They were playing to Archer's like weaknesses, but how did that lead to them being able to get the full caravan across the border? How did they do that? Like, I don't really understand the logistics.
They assumed that they would have a need for Archer to leave with everyone so that they could sneak past. Like, I don't know. They just cartoon logic. They just assumed that that's how it would work out, and then it did. Kind of like when with the Cyril and the tree thing, just like
cartoon logic.
They just assumed that that's how it would work out, and it did. Good times.
Well, there's some fun stuff in this one. You guys have any? Oh, I also just like the visual of the moment where The moment where Archer asks Cyril if he's wearing Kevlar, and he's like, duh, because I'm not an idiot. Oh, damn it. And then he just shoots him 5 times in the chest.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And then, like, just the visual of Cyril's bruised chest the rest of the episode. Oh, brutal.
And I forget, was it Cheryl or Pam who called him Grimace? Someone called him Grimace. I thought it was one of them.
It's probably
if
one
I'm
of
wrong
them.
about that, fix it in post. Just bleep the name. Just kidding. But I really love that somebody called him Grimace after that. I just forget who said it.
For sure. I don't remember who said it either, but Grimace. He's Grimace.
One of them did. It was a good joke. He was purple. Grimace was purple. Good times.
Yeah.
Nice times.
It's a good ref.
By all.
Sick. It's a sick ref.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys got any thoughts on Coyote Lovely? Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the Honeymooners. This is like the big episode. That's one of the big episodes in terms of like, I guess there's a couple in a row here with Lana and Archer sort of getting close again. And so this is the one where they have to pretend to be newlyweds for their secret mission in one of the Tuntmore hotels owned by Cheryl. And then obviously Cyril is so insecure that he goes and like follows them to watch them and make sure that they're not hooking up.
Yeah, but Lana does almost fuck him. She's considering it.
I didn't realize until like around the end, but this is the second time he does this.
Yes, because he did it in season 1.
Season. Yeah,
I don't actually think Lana was going to fuck Archer in this.
I don't know. I think she was against it.
What from her saying that like she's just made her decision or whatever?
I don't know. She kept like, I don't know. I felt like she kept alluding to it because she said that twice.
Here's what I think
she was gonna fuck him.
Here's what I think she was actually alluding to, and this is spoilers for later in the season, but the season 2 and for future seasons, I guess. The season finale is when we reveal that Lana is pregnant, right? Yeah. So that's the big reveal at the end. And I'm pretty sure they later reveal that, she says she got a donor, but the reveal, I'm pretty sure the donor is Archer. Yeah. So I believe her decision that she's making is whether or not she wants to have Cyril's kid or Archer's kid. So it's not even, so she doesn't even cheat on Cyril with Archer. She just chooses to use Archer's semen.
That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was a fucking, and I was like, she almost fucked him. Okay, but
I do think that's what they made. What they were trying to make it seem like. But I think the recontextualization is that like because I think in this episode she decides because the thing is in this episode she decides that she is going to go with Cyril, and then Cyril fucks up so bad at the end. She's like, I'm making the decision. So I'm pretty sure that's what it's alluding to, which is interesting. And it's also interesting that she like was like, yeah, I'll have Archer's baby, but he doesn't need to be involved. he's not involved, which I guess we'll talk about later. But this episode has crazy action, like them climbing, like the sequence with them climbing up the building.
It's animated so well. When Lana falls, it's animated so well. It looks great.
That's crazy. That's like such a
bonkers.
That is such a like cartoony thing. Like that's like so action movie. I feel like there's nothing quite that crazy in any other season of Archer where it's like, oh, they would neither have made it out of that situation. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's like when he dives down and catches her, and like it's like very Mission Impossible. It's like Ghost Protocol, which is a good movie. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. But yeah, it's I like this episode. I think this is a really good one because I really like the kind of like I like the Archer and Lana like dynamic when it's positive and negative. Like I like when they get on each other's nerves and stuff, and it's just funny. It's just a funny thing to watch. Mm-hmm. And also just like Cyril being pressured by Cheryl and Pam is always funny.
Yeah.
And it's like he always makes the dumbest decisions, and it's always because Cheryl and Pam are like egging him on to make really bad decisions.
Not only is this the second time that he did this, he does it the exact same way because of the exact same people.
In Titanic, exactly. It's exactly the same, which is really funny. Yeah, agreed. I'm a big fan of that dynamic. And now that we're like 4 seasons deep into the show, like obviously in season 1, we were starting to see how Pam and Cheryl are like kind of nuts, but now they're full nuts. They're full blown nuts in this season, and we get all
phrasing.
of it. Oh, it's so funny. I also like at the end when Mallory's pissed that she has to pay for like all of the destruction that they caused at the hotel, and she's like, but someone who works here could like get this all taken care of immediately. And she's like, I have to answer to my board of directors. I don't really.
I don't really. And then Pam was like, do you even know what that means? And she's like, I really don't. I have no idea what that even means.
Oh, I love them. Cheryl and Pam might be my favorite characters. They're so funny.
Great.
They're
definitely
funny.
mine. Yeah.
They're ridiculous. I guess it's just because they're so outrageously ridiculous, and they really just let them let loose, starting with season 3, where they're just like, oh, they're both absolutely insane characters.
Right.
All right, you guys got any thoughts on Honeymooners?
I love this one. It has I have 3 gags kind of in a row that I really love. The first is I think it's the cold open with like Pam's humping the burrito. It's so funny.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
So funny, yeah. It's so funny.
They
give Cyril like this really like puzzling facial expression that I also think is really funny when he does that. And then they do like a flashback to like Cyril and Lana like having sex, and I guess Pam overhears it, and then like she says like add it up is crazy. Add it up is insane. Add it up is nuts. And the last one I have is they ask Pam, were you raised in a barn? And she says, no, I just slept there a lot.
Oh man. Do they ever do any like, do we ever go back to Pam's childhood in the show? They have to at some point, right? Like, or go back to like where she grew up, because she's born on a dairy. She grew up on a dairy, which we learned earlier. So like she has, I feel like we go back to Ray's hometown. We gotta go to hers at some point, right?
Maybe
we'll find out eventually.
How does this one end again? Oh, I have written down, dude, the end is so gross, but I don't remember what it is.
Fuck, I don't remember.
Why did I write that and like not write what the end was?
Let's see. Sometimes these wikis have the ending beat.
Okay. What's so gross about
that's
it?
Annoying. That's annoying. The wiki for this one specifically is not very. It's not very.
They're trying to sabotage the pod, man.
Let's figure it out.
Trying to sabotage.
Oh, it was.
Podcast.
Oh my god! It's.
What is it?
It's the reveal. It's the reveal that Krieger was there to sell them uranium, and he comes in and he's got like the and he's got the radioactive pig, and that he just feeds all the dead bodies to them. That is fucking crazy.
But not even just that. He says like because they insinuate early in the episode that he had sex with the pig. So he says like you earned it, and it's like he's watching the pig's ass while it walks. So that's why I wrote it was gross. Okay.
Krieger is the grossest character. Holy shit!
He really is.
He's so funny, but oh my god. It's like it just gets crazier and crazier as the show goes on.
That's why I said it was gross.
That radioactive pig. Yeah. I do like his. Oh my god! Fuck! What is? I just remembered a joke that I love so much, and I can't remember what episode it's in. It's the one. What's the one where Archer needs to turn the Oh, you know what? I think it's at the end of the season. I'll just say the joke now because I love it so much, and I can't remember what episode it's in. But it's the one where Archer's complaining about how Krieger mods the guns and he doesn't know what the safety button is, and they just do a cutaway to Krieger on a pile of coke drumming while modding a gun.
That's in the finale.
That's in the finale. Damn it.
Sorry,
so way early on that.
I love that
it's
part
such
too.
a fucking funny joke. Oh my God. That was a cutaway. When that cutaway happened, I literally like cackled for like 3 minutes. I should have voice memoed it.
You should have.
You should have.
Oh my God. So good. All right, let's move on to, I think I'm saying this right, Un Chien Tangerine.
Un Chien Tangerine. That's a play on the movie Un Chien Andalou, I believe.
What movie is that? Tell us, Whitney.
It's the one with the eyeball that they cut open.
Oh.
The eyeball open.
I don't want to see that movie then.
You don't have to.
Written by Salvador Dali. I had no idea this was a thing. Good title, though.
Yeah, dog.
Wild. So, I have 2 notes for this one. I like a lot about this episode, but I wrote 2 notes. One is the dog! ! And the second note is more farts than I remembered.
I didn't write any notes about it because all that was going through my head was Big Pug.
Big Pug. He does look like a big pug. What kind of dog is he supposed to be? Is that supposed to be a real kind of dog? It should
maybe be. like a what do you call him? Either like a mastiff or a what are the other big ones?
Kazakh. He says he's a mastiff. It says he's a mastiff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to tell when they're animated, but
it sure is. But you know what? If there's one thing we can all agree on, it's I know my dogs.
You know your big pugs.
Know my big pugs.
This is an episode. This was one of the episodes that so watching through this season, I only really remembered going in. I remembered the premiere, the Bob's Burger stuff. I remembered the finale with the sea lab under the sea stuff, and I remembered the dog episode. Those were the only 3 that I'm like, oh yeah, season 4. Those are the ones I remember about season 4, and I didn't remember any others until we were watching through them again. And this was always one of my favorites.
I love this one very much.
It's very,
very funny.
very, very funny. And also I just love that dog, and I love Archer's dog friendship. I love when Archer just connects to animals so much. It's so funny every time.
It's great.
I love it. He's like Eliza in the Wild Thornberry. It's like he can talk to them.
Yeah. Just like Eliza Thornberry.
Yeah, I can't wait for the movie crossover. Archer Goes Wild.
Archer Goes Wild. They get Paul Simon to do another song on the soundtrack.
Finally, this is what we've all wanted.
They bring Bruce Willis back.
Who did Bruce Willis play again?
He's the Rugrats' dog in that movie.
That's right.
That's amazing.
That's so funny.
Tim Curry is Nigel, which is my favorite fun fact of all time.
That was how I think that was just how I learned of Tim Curry.
Oh, really?
Was when I was watching that show as a child.
I didn't even realize that it was him. So I didn't realized that it was him, and then he also voiced Rex Pester from the Rugrats movies, the news anchor. It's Rex Pester, big action movie.
I don't think I knew that.
So he was Nigel Thornberry and that guy. But I when I was a small child, my mom used to let me listen to the Rocky Horror Picture Show soundtrack because I really liked it, and it was music, and I didn't know what any of the words meant. And so that was my first intro to Tim Curry, was just the soundtrack of that. And it took me many years to realize that he was both Nigel Thornberry and Rex Pester. I didn't realize that till I was a teen child.
He's in one of my favorite animated things of all time, Over the Garden Wall. as a character named Auntie Whispers.
Yes.
And very spooky character, very good performance. And I like him very much. Big fan of his voice acting.
Shit. You know what my favorite fucking Tim Curry movie was when I was a kid, though? Muppet Treasure Island.
Good
that
choice.
Shit was my jam. I fucking forgot to even mention that. I also saw that in theaters. I remember it.
So I have weirdly a vivid memory of going to see it in the theaters, and I was a little upset because it was a good movie and I liked it, obviously, but at the time, it was playing at the exact same time as, I believe, Homeward Bound 2.
I see.
Jeez.
And I went to the theater, and there were two movies playing, and one was Muppet Treasure Island, and the other was Homeward Bound 2. And I knew my cousin was at Homeward Bound 2, and I was like, I really want to see Homeward Bound 2, but I have to go see Muppet Treasure Island. Luckily, Muppet Treasure Island rules, and it was my dumb kid brain, which my dumb kid brain did that a lot. Like, for one of my other cousins' birthdays, they all went to see Mulan, and I was like, hell no. I'm going to see Air Bud, Golden Receiver.
Oh, piece of shit. Ew.
Nasty. For my age, though, it was exactly what I needed to see. A dog movie about football.
I do think that my favorite thing about Muppet Treasure Island, and then I promise I'll stop talking about Tim Curry, but my favorite thing ever is that in hindsight, it is fully canon that Tim Curry fucks Miss Piggy, because they heavily imply that they used to be lovers in the film. Wow. Like when she and Kermit are thinking of like breaking up, they heavily fucking imply that Tim Curry and Miss Piggy used to fuck. And I love that for him. I love that for her. I love that for me. I love that for all of us.
I think the world is a better place with that being out there.
I 900% agree.
Great. That's a lot. That's a large percent.
Did you ever, has D'Angelo ever told you the story about why he hates the Hey Arnold movie?
Nope.
It's because they had a class trip and everybody voted. They had to vote on what movie they wanted to see. And everybody in the class picked the Hey Arnold movie over the Powerpuff Girls movie. They were going to the theater, so he didn't get to see the Powerpuff Girls movie in theaters. He had to go see the Hey Arnold movie, which is worse, significantly worse.
Okay, but why didn't you guys just sneak into the other movies if you didn't want to go to the ones?
They were squares, man. They were kids, square kids.
Yeah,
my church but it was took like us all to see The Passion of the Christ, and I snuck out and I saw Scooby-Doo.
Which one?
Nasty sneak out.
I have never seen The Passion of the Christ to this day, but I have seen Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo's better.
I made the right call.
It's a nasty sneak out.
Dude, it sure is. Especially when you're with your pastor, dude. I had to be so sly.
I'll be back. I'm gonna go
get more popcorn. Don't worry. The line might be super, super long though, so don't wait up.
Yeah. I'm totally not gonna go watch Matthew Lillard.
Okay, but if I'm not mistaken, if you snuck out of The Passion of the Christ to see Scooby-Doo, you didn't see Scooby-Doo. You saw Scooby-Doo Monsters Unleashed. Scooby-Doo 2.
Yes. Scooby-Doo Monsters Unleashed. That is what I meant.
See, that's a nastier.
Yes. No, it was Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. Yes, you are correct. I'm sorry that I shortened it by just calling it Scooby-Doo.
They are different movies.
They are different movies. I apologize.
I would love it if we got a third in that, and if we rounded out the trilogy. Bring James Gunn back. Let's make it happen.
Yeah,
let's do it. Let's start that right. Let's lead that charge. Cartoons That Curse fans, please start hashtagging Scooby-Doo 3 wherever you want.
SD3.
SD3.
SD3. Yeah, let me see that Josie and the Pussycats movie.
Yeah, I love that movie.
It's so fucking good.
So good.
It's the best fucking movie.
It's so
I watched
good.
it a lot when I was a kid. It was always on HBO, and I would just turn it on whenever it was on. My favorite joke. I love
the song from that so much. It's such.
There's good songs.
I love the song. The first time I ever saw it was during the pandemic. The first time I ever saw it was as an adult. Yeah, and it's it's so
It's
like
so
even
good.
as an adult, it's just so good. It's like
Yeah.
it's really funny and it's like smart and it's like really meta. Like
I have to
The year it
rewatch
came
it because
out, I made my two best friends be the Pussycats with me because obviously I was Josie. And I remember my friends did not like comics at all, but I sold it to them by being like, no, we're just going to be rock stars with cat ears. It's going to be fucking awesome.
That's right.
And like, I forced them to do the costume I wanted to do because they thought I was a nerd.
That's so funny. I need to rewatch it because it's been so many years that I remember almost nothing about it. But other than that, I really liked it. And I remember one joke specifically that I like, and that was it was when I doubt it. It's very specific and obscure. Oh, maybe it is because it actually relates to something you love, Tariq. But it's a joke where like at the end Josie's apologizing to them and she says something like, if I could go back in time, I would like just undo everything I did to you or whatever. And Tara Reid goes, if I could go back in time, I'd want to meet Snoopy.
You know what I thought? I thought you were gonna. I thought the one thing you remembered was in like the climax, one of them is like, you messed with the wrong pussy, and then like she like kicks him. Okay,
I did not remember that.
That is more than likely the reason that movie is rated PG-13.
Probably.
Yeah, for sure.
We should put that. We should throw that on our Patreon list. That's going to go on the list for our Patreon stuff. Yeah,
I love to. Fuck,
okay,
we didn't talk about this episode.
We didn't talk about it at all. But it's okay.
Yeah,
Let's talk real quick.
There was a dog. It was nice.
The dog's great, and also I love the sequence where after Lana has like stormed off because she's mad at Archer, and I like the scene where he's talking to the dog and he basically convinces himself like, fuck, I need to go back and get Lana, because it's almost like his conscience. It's almost like he's like talking to the dog and it's a conversation with the dog, but he's really talking to himself. And I really like how they frame that scene where he's like having the conversation with the giant dog to decide, oh fuck, I need to be a better person. I really fucked up because she left all of her stuff in the back of the car and now she's gonna die. So I better go save Lana.
I think it's interesting, like that scene in general, just kind of how they set up how not only how Archer feels about Lana, but how he treats her. It's kind of like this is the only way I could reference cartoons is with more cartoons. So it's kind of like Hey Arnold, right? It's like Helga, like how Helga treats Arnold.
Yeah,
isn't really like how she thinks about him. She treats him bad because that's kind of what you do as a kid. And I think what's interesting about Archer is that like he's not one of those people that didn't necessarily have a childhood, but he didn't necessarily have to grow up either. So he's kind of mentally, in a lot of respects, is kind of still stuck that way.
Right.
So it makes sense for him to, I guess, if he really like cares about someone, to treat them that way and like talk to them the way he talks to Lana, I guess. Like because it's childish, and I guess for him that like it makes a lot of sense.
That's a good point.
That is a really good point.
It's also interesting.
Smarty
like
pants.
Smart-rific Tariq.
I love it.
That actually,
I like how like this is going on Spotify too, so they couldn't, like, whoever's listening didn't see me do poses. So when she complimented me, it just sounds like I just got really quiet.
That did actually remind me though of like, it is interesting though. It reminded me of something you guys were talking about earlier, is when Archer's calling everyone to Save Him from Canada, is it? And he calls Lana last. And that's like, I think that really speaks to, we learned like last season, he basically talks about how Lana is his only friend, which is accurate. And I think that says a lot that he called Lana last because he didn't want her to like hate him more. Right.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to stop. He's doing his best to like mitigate how much she hates him. He's like thinking about like, Lana's like, I don't want to bother Lana with this. I don't want Lana to have to deal with this.
There are so many situations in which I would call you before I would call Brett any day. because I don't want to make him more mad. I would call you or Mars or like Lisa. I would not call Brett to get me out of trouble. Are you fucking kidding me? No fucking way.
You heard it here first, Brett.
Sorry, Brett. I love you. I love you very much. But if I'm in jail, I'm not calling you, which is fine. Like, he's great. Like, if he hears this, he's going to be like, yeah, please don't call me if you're in jail.
I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to fucking know that shit. Please don't even get me involved. I don't have the money.
All right, well, let's move on to the Papal Chase. The Papal Chase.
One, I was texting John earlier while I was watching this because it just was so boring. I don't know why. I like couldn't get into it, and I kept having like the hardest time paying attention. And I caught myself doing that thing where I would like not listen for like 15 minutes and then go, oh shit, fuck, where did I leave off? And like have to go back. I did that like 4 times, and then I was like, you know what? This isn't meant to be. I'm gonna let you guys talk about this one the most because I was bored as fuck. Sorry.
That's not one of my favorite. It's not one of my favorites either, but there is a lot of stuff I love about it. I just love that they were like, we'll just make Woodhouse look like the Pope.
I do love anything with Woodhouse in it. I really do, but I just like the whole storyline lost me. Like the whole entire thing as a whole.
I really like, I just like they reused Woodhouse's character model for the Pope. I thought that was funny. And then I like all of the stuff with like Woodhouse being a junkie is funny in this episode. How he accidentally sticks Pam twice with his heroin needle.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There's just like a lot of funny moments with the Pope, like especially in the car chase that I like. Like when like they're like Pam's a Lutheran, he's like Luther had some good points. There's some funny stuff in it, but it is overall, I agree, one of my less interesting episodes of the season for me.
Yeah, I mean, like I obviously wouldn't say I hated it. It was just underwhelming. It was just
right.
Like I could have watched the whole thing on my phone and like not realized that I was paying too much attention to Twitter and not enough to the episode. Like I could have done that.
This is the first Field Agent Pam.
Yeah,
it is the first Field Agent Pam, right?
It sure is, Buckaroo.
Which is great, and I do like that. It is funny how they just slowly make everyone field agents, like, but also like Pam should have been a field agent before Cyril was.
Oh, 100%. Pam is so much better than Cyril.
Yeah, and she also just is like tougher than Cyril and can like take a lot more than Cyril. It's like Cyril's such a little wuss.
He's a puss.
Yeah, he really is.
Little baby bitch.
He really is.
Oh, I forgot about this, but like my jaw hit the floor when Pam dropped the mirror on the Pope.
Yes, I thought they crushed the Pope to death.
That was rough. I was like, oh no.
Yep. That was rough. I agree. What I'm trying to think of what else about this episode like really stood out to me. I like those settings. Being in the Vatican is cool. Another twist ending. The Cardinal. It was the Cardinal who wanted to kill the Pope. Yeah, there's a lot I like about this episode on paper, but again, it was also for me a underwhelming affair.
Underwhelmed.
It's a little middle one for me. I'll say. The car chase looks good too.
The car chase does look good. Really well. It does.
Yeah. The car chase is fun.
In general, things are animated really fucking well this season. Really well.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you guys wish that the episode had been them undercover at the Vatican?
Yes.
Yeah.
They like just sneak into the Vatican at night, and then it's a chase the rest of the way.
That's true. They do like set it up like they're supposed to be undercover, and then they're they're making fun of Archer's like terrible Italian or whatever.
Maybe they just couldn't get past that. How can we convincingly make them undercover at the Vatican?
At the Vatican, right? But I agree, that would have been way more interesting to me. I think that would have created for funnier predicaments of them trying to like sneak by as members of the clergy,
But then what is it? It's like the millionth episode that's like, there's a threat against the Pope and we have to be undercover and make sure that it doesn't happen.
Right. True. But they could, I don't know, maybe it just should have been maybe the episode should have been something different.
They could have. This is like I was going to say Principal. Jeez. This is like Prince and the Pauper almost.
You almost said Principal and the Pauper.
Yeah, I almost said Principal like a dickhead.
Principal and the Pauper, only on Disney Channel.
Only on Disney Plus.
Principal and the Pauper is a Simpsons episode that we talk about a lot.
I was picturing it being like a Disney Channel original movie about like funny. A kindly old schoolmaster who takes pity on a young poor student, and it's like a posh like a posh private academy, and they let in one poor kid every year, and like this year like the principal.
You should write DComs. Why aren't you writing DComs?
Why don't I?
Beats me.
Bag.
Yeah, I don't have much else about the Papal Chase.
Me
cool
either.
Setting. Could have been better. A lot of funny heroine jokes. Woodhouse is great. Anything else? You guys got anything else?
No.
Cool. Let's move on to Sea Tunt. So, Sea Tunt Part 1 and Part 2 to me feel pretty separate, which seems to be the case for a lot of these two-parters in Archer. Even the Heart of Archness, every episode feels pretty distinct. But the first one takes place entirely on the fancy helicopter, like the rich people helicopter. And the whole plot of the first one is basically Cheryl's brother trying to basically form a conservatorship over her because she's insane. And
he's trying to Jamie Spears her ass.
Yeah, but truthfully, like Cheryl should probably have someone watching out for her. She's not.
I mean, that was a fucking joke in the episode. Everyone was like, would that really be a bad thing?
Yeah, maybe that's right. Maybe that's a good idea. But they and that's like the whole plot is like him going around and trying to get everyone to admit like, yeah, Cheryl's nuts, right? Yeah, she's nuts. I also like the setting. I mean, I don't know. This comes down to, this one feels similar to a lot of the ones that I love in seasons 2 and 3, or seasons 1 and 3. Season 1's got Skytanic, which anytime like the whole crew is on something traveling somewhere, some fancy machine traveling somewhere, I'm like, oh, I like this setting. Skytanic rules. and then when they were on the train, I really like when they're on the train in season 3 as a setting. And so this one, once again, is like, oh, we're on a fancy helicopter going where we need to go. I also liked Archer's just like obsession with making a billion drinks.
And I was gonna say it's that in the Part 1, and then fucking Part 2 when Mallory realizes that there's no drinks anymore, and that she should have drunk on the fancy helicopter, and she's big mad.
Yeah, that's very Mallory, which I'm a fan of. I'm a fan of things that are very Mallory.
Same.
But yeah, I also think Eugene Merman is such a good voice actor, and he's really great.
He's so funny.
He's really funny in this episode. I'm a big fan of him in this episode. I also like Cheryl just going nuts. Also, Cheryl's weird, like going insane where she's hearing the music stings.
Yes. Oh my god. And she just keeps like, don't worry. It's non-diegetic sound.
It's non-diegetic. Yeah. The first time they tried to sell that, I didn't really understand, because they have that weird moment at the end of an act where they do the music sting and she's looking like suspiciously, and then they do the music sting and she like looks around, and I'm like, what is she looking around for? Why did they like hold on that beat? And then the second time is when she's like, it's just non-diegetic, don't worry.
Yeah.
It's so and good.
She starts to have like a breakdown, so she just calls out John Williams.
Yes. I think it's a good episode. I really like Seaton Part 1. I like the setting. I like the guest stars. And I like getting to know Cheryl's family a little more. And like we learn a little bit more about her, I guess, her childhood dynamic. Is this the one where we see the flashback where she was like burning down her gazebo?
Yes, she committed arson on the gazebo.
As a child. Arson.
Child gazebo arson. That's
Good
a crime
stuff.
you don't see every day.
Do you guys have anything else you love about this one?
My first two notes. The first note says Jean in all lowercase letters. And the second note says, "Oh, gross. His girl is Louise."
Girl is Louise?
That's just because you're too Bob's Burgered.
Yeah, that's true.
But it is but this is, I guess, something we talked about earlier. It's so annoying that they were both in an episode together, 2 episodes together, and that they didn't record them to be, and that they didn't get them to be in the premiere with the Bob's Burger stuff. It's so weird.
Right. Yeah. It was pretty weird. But this one is, especially compared to the second one, this one is like really like plot driven. It felt like, even out of all the ones this season, it felt like a lot of it was set up for the next one almost. Like it was just kind of like hitting every beat that it needed to in order for them to be ready to tell the story in the second one almost.
Kind of. I don't know if I agree, because I feel like it feels like the conflicts were separate. Like I think the conflict of this one felt more like her brother trying to get money out of her, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the second one is like, oh shit, some dude is holding the C Lab hostage. You know?
Okay, yeah.
But you're right. They do like set it up, like especially at the end when they like very directly are like here's what's going on at the C Lab, which I do like. Should we move on to that episode? Should we move on to part 2?
Yeah. Oh, just really quick though, I forgot to mention that another thing that I do really like about this episode is that Cecil is dressed like a little baby Steve Zissou.
Oh, he is. That's
true. That makes
my
heart feel real happy.
That's
Life
true.
Aquatic.
I also wanted to mention that Pam eating the soy and being allergic to it.
Oh my
ridiculous.
God. Oh my God. It's so funny though.
It's
I was
so funny.
Laughing so hard.
And very gross.
It's so dumb and it's so gross, but I don't know why that was cracking me the fuck up when I watched it.
It's very funny.
Just her continuing to shove it in. She's just like, I can have a few more as long as you have an EpiPen on board. That's like how I imagine Pugsley eats snacks, where he's like, well, you'll get me to the emergency vet in time if I eat a whole pound of butter, so I'm going to go for it.
Pam and Pugsley have a lot in common.
Pam and Pugsley have so much in common.
All right, well, let's move on to Sea Tunt Part 2, which is crazily just a C Lab 2021 crossover, which is wild. Like, this Captain Murphy is literally a C Lab character.
Oh, that's why I didn't understand what you were talking about when you said there were a bunch of crossovers, because I've never seen that show.
Oh yeah,
so
I've never seen that either.
About.
I didn't know what you meant either. I was just like, Box
so
Burger?
John Hamm plays him. John Hamm plays Captain Murphy, which is great guest star.
Dude, I love John Hamm. I didn't know that.
I've never seen that show though.
He was played by someone else in the original show who died, but they got John Hamm to play him here. But it's literally like C Lab 2021 is one of those Adult Swim comedic Hanna-Barbera spinoffs. So there was a show back in the 70s called C Lab 2020, which was like a genuine like action under the sea Hanna-Barbera cartoon. And then Adam Reed and another writer made C Lab 2021 for Adult Swim, which is the comedic sequel to C Lab 2020. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure they actually just use footage from C Lab 2020.
That's funny. In the original,
and they dub over it.
2020. I think so. I think it is one of those because it is early on, like the Adult Swim stuff when they were making stuff cheap.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that makes sense. You just reminded me of something that happens earlier in the season that I didn't write down, but I remember, and I don't remember what episode it is. Oh, I know what episode it is. It's the damn it, the Chase one, the Pope one.
Yeah.
They Archer says that his research was watching every episode of Lucy, the Daughter of the Devil. And I'm one of the 5 people on the planet that knows what that show is. However, and I know that H. John Benjamin plays the devil in that.
Right.
Oh, that's fun.
I was wondering, I didn't get the chance to look. I was wondering if there was like any connection beyond that with like Archer and that, or like if it is did Adam Reed do that too, or was he there?
I don't know if Adam Reed was involved. But I do know Lucy Daughter of the Devil was a Lauren Bouchard show, who's the Bob's Burgers guy. So he did home movies, and then I believe he did Lucy Daughter of the Devil afterwards. Okay. Well, let's see. Maybe there's maybe that's why they knew each other through that. I don't know. Obviously, well, if John Benjamin was in this, that makes sense. He's been in every Lauren Bouchard show. He was, because he's in home movies, and he's in Lucy Daughter of the Devil, and he's in and he's obviously in Bob's Burgers. But yeah, I don't know if there's any Adam Reed connection there. Obviously, these guys were all working at William Street and doing Adult Swim shit.
Absolutely,
for all of the 2000s.
It could have just, honestly, the voice actor connection could just be enough. I was just wondering if there was like anything else, but I did think that's such a bizarre, like, specific reference that, like,
yeah,
damn near nobody would get. Like, and then and the joke is Archer saying that the show is underrated, which is barely a joke. So, I don't know.
That's true.
It stood up.
I really love the setting of the C Lab. I kind of wish we had gotten both. Like, I wish we had more episodes set at the C Lab. It's just a cool location.
Yeah, it is.
I liked this episode a lot. I like the setting, and I like the conflict of just like, there's a madman at the bottom of the sea. We have to do what he says. And yeah, I enjoyed this one a lot. But I think what I like most about it is like the ending stuff. I like the ending, like the big emotional ending and the big like sacrifice that Archer makes for Lana. And that like initially he's just like it's literally the change is like once he learns that Lana is pregnant, literally it's all it is. It's just that he knows that she's pregnant, and he just like flips a switch and it's just like, oh, Lana, here's the gear. Like I'm going to potentially kill myself so that you guys can get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice. I like it. I like when it seems like they're over, like there's always, each season I feel like is a little bit more like humanizing and like moving the dial on Archer to be a little bit better of a person, which is nice.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Guys, got any other thoughts on Sea Tunt Part 2?
Sea Tunt's really fun to say.
Sea Tunt.
I like saying it.
Sea Tunt.
Sea Tunt.
I really like
Sea Tunt.
I really like what Archer says to Lana when he decides to give her like the last helmet. Yeah, when he says, "You're gonna be a mom. Just promise me that you'll be a better one than mine."
Yeah,
I thought that was so nice. I thought that scene was just really sweet.
It's a sweet scene. It's maybe my favorite scene in the season. It's really nice.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
And she's really like when they're going through the water and everything. Like she's like it. Like you could tell it like does something for her, and she's like really protective of him that whole time.
Totally.
You know what I mean? I thought that was really great. And and even though it, first of all, I wrote, dude, no way is Ray handicapped again.
They do it every season.
The fact that it ends with that is the worst.
Whitney,
before that, I like Archer and I like Archer tickling Ray. I thought that was
I did too.
Like,
I thought that
it was sweet.
Yeah.
It made me smile a lot. Obviously, it leads to like the big defibrillator accident. But yeah, I don't know if Whitney, if you remember though, but this is the third season in a row where the finale reveal is that Ray is handicapped. Like the first, it's they do it, and then they actually, the reveal after the first time is that he was faking it, and then the second time it becomes real, and then now he's like now he gets the bionic legs, and they're like, oh, they short circuited or whatever. So can
you just replace the circuit board? Like, chill.
That's what I assume.
Can whip that up on cocaine real quick.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure that happens.
I wouldn't be such a baby about it if I were you.
Yeah, but it is a funny beat for him to be a baby about it. It's good. Good season of Archer. Strong, solid season of Archer. Show's still funny. I like it a lot. You guys got anything else on how do you feel about season 4 overall?
Oh man, I really like it. I think it's one of my little squeaky yawn.
It's a little yawny. It's a boring season. Just kidding.
No, it's not at all. Sorry, I just did a squeak yawn. I really like this season. I think that besides all of the clearly outdated jokes, I think it's one of my favorite seasons. I really like it. I had a good time.
I think it was a little bit of a step down after season 3, which was so strong, but it's still a really good season. Also, just like those random handful of problematic jokes were just like,
Yeah, they were very concerning. However, I love the Bob's Burgers episode is like one of my favorites of the entire. It's a great episode. Series. So I think that's why I ranked this season so high. Mostly because of that episode.
I think 3 is my fave, and then honestly, it's kind of a crapshoot between 1, 2, and 4. Like they're all pretty on par to me. I'd have to think about it more closely. But I'm very, very, very excited to revisit Archer Vice soon. We'll be talking about that soon.
That's the one.
Yeah. Whitney, you got any thoughts on Archer Vice before we start it? Do you like Vice? You a big fan?
No, I've never seen Vice. Like Miami Vice? Are you
No, Archer Vice.
Archer Vice.
Sorry, I thought you were asking if I had seen Miami Vice.
No, just Archer Vice.
Oh, just Archer Vice. I don't know. I have no thoughts. No thoughts. Head empty. No Vice.
Okay, cool.
It doesn't matter what the answer is. The answer is still that.
Let's do our rankings then. Good season of Archer. So
I did it this time.
You did it. All right, I'm going to start, and then you can go, Whitney, and then Tariq will be last. I will. All right, number 13, The Wind Cries Mary. Number 12, The Papal Chase. 11, Legs. 10, Coyote Lovely. 9, Viscous Coupling. 8, Sea Tunt Part 1. 7, Midnight Ron. 6, Sea Tunt Part 2. 5, The Honeymooners. 4, Live and Let Dine. 3, Un Chien Tangerine. 2, Once Bitten. 1, Fugue and Riffs. That's me.
We have 2 that line up, and then the rest are just all over the place.
Oh, yeah. Well, you guys are wrong about Once Bitten, so.
All right. Sounds good. Okay, I've got The Papal Chase, The Wind Cries Mary, Vicious Coupling, The Honeymooners, Midnight Ron, Legs, Coyote Lovely, Once Bitten, Sea Tunt 1, Sea Tunt 2, Live and Let Dine, Un Chien Tangerine, and Fugue and Riffs.
Good list.
Yeah.
We line up with 1. All right, let's do it. 13, Once Bitten. 12, Coyote Lovely. 11,
your last one?
Last one? You don't like the butthole bite that much?
We're ending the podcast early. All right, continue.
Let's do it. 11, Sea Tunt Part 1. 10, Sea Tunt Part 2. 9, Vicious Coupling. 8, how you say it?
Un Chien Tangerine? Oh, Papal Chase.
Not that.
Papal Chase.
Papal.
It's like what it means to be of Pope.
Yeah.
To be of Pope.
To be of Pope. 7, Live and Let Dine. 6, Un Chien Tangerine. 5, Midnight Ron. 4, The Wind Cries Mary. 3, The Honeymooners. 2, Legs, and 1, Fuge and Rips.
We all had the same number 1.
We all put that as the same number 1. Look at us all agreeing.
Because it's the best one.
It is really
good. I really love it.
Can I give you
Mikey,
my top 3?
Mikey. Oh yeah, Mikey. What's your top 3?
I don't want to do the whole ranking, but I had to come to the rescue here. So I'll say number 3, Live and Let Dine.
Nice.
Even though my one gripe with that is I wish it stuck to the bit of it being like shot like a reality TV show the whole time.
I know.
I do too.
Yeah,
I agree.
that's true.
Yeah, I agree.
But I love that episode. Yeah. Number 2, Midnight Ron. I mean, what's not to love about Ron Cadillac?
Yep.
Number 1, Once Bitten.
Yeah.
Like, how am I not?
Whoa!
Yeah!
So
I gotta come to the rescue real quick.
This real swoop down in.
Oh man. So my man Peter Serafinowicz does 3 voices in that episode.
That's right. I didn't even mention that.
Come on.
I can't believe I didn't bring that up.
He plays cut rate James Mason, Archer's dad, and like the Turkish leader that they're trying to get the anti-venom from.
Yeah, what's the word? Glarpglock or whatever? There's like 6 words.
It means like a
It's
bunch
like
of
a Rick
different
and Morty
things.
sounding word. That's all I know.
It totally is.
Also, Once Bitten has one of my favorite jokes from Cheryl, which is like, if it's even really a joke, she has that like long, like sober cutting monologue to Lana where she just like peels back all her insecurities and like cuts through the bullshit and like offers her analysis of Lana. I think it ends with her saying like, and this spy agency is the only true love you'll ever know.
Yeah.
And then after like the beat, she's like, what? Oh my God, was I talking?
Yeah. That was a good part.
Oh, I forgot about that one. I love that. That's so funny. Oh man, Cheryl is the best. She's the funniest character. Oh man, was I talking?
We love Cheryl.
Mike, you got any thoughts before we knock out on season 4? You like season 4?
I do like season 4. I watched a lot of it today. I think it's my least favorite of the first 4 seasons.
For sure.
It kind of has that quality of I don't know if any of us here have watched Sex and the City, but season 3 of Sex and the City contains like all of the problematic episodes. Like almost I mean, there's things that age bad throughout the show, but season 3 specifically, you can tell they were like, we're going to come in and we're going to push the envelope.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a little bit of that here.
Right.
And I don't know. You struggle. You get a few seasons in. Like, what can you do? Push the envelope.
Right. Well, you could start theming your seasons, which is what they chose to do next, which is, I think, is ultimately a smart and creative move. But yeah, it's a good season. It's the show's still strong, even though it's not, sometimes, even though sometimes it's making you go, huh, it's still a good season. Cool. You guys got anything else before we wrap this out?
I have a dog. His name is Pugsley. He's very nice. That's all.
Whitney, do your plugs. Plug your stuff.
Okay, I am Whitney. You can find me at Whitney Puppy on all platforms and at WhitneyVision on YouTube.
Yeah, go check out WhitneyVision.
Yeah.
They got some great vids, really good stuff. Highly recommend. Subscribe, comment, like, the biz.
Do it. It'll be fun for you and money for me, which is my favorite 2 combinations.
Cool. And with that, I want to say...
Can I do a plug?
You got a plug?
Can I do a plug? Yeah, I got a plug. Me and Johnny's friend, Lydia of The Simpsons Theory, has a book.
Woo! Hell yeah! Get it.
Bam. I got my copy too.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
Simpsons
go check out
Secrets.
check out The Simpsons Secret. It's a cromulent guide to how The Simpsons predicted everything. If you haven't checked out The Simpsons Theory, it's a great YouTube channel all about The Simpsons. Lydia and James run it, and it's really great. Mm-hmm. And the book is available now. Although she did tell me today that the book is currently sold out. So, but by the time this releases, hopefully they got some. Yeah, hopefully they got some more. So go check it out. Good book. Good Simpsons literature.
That's right. Yeah. If you love the tangents here, you're going to love the tangents in that book.
All right. And with that, I want to thank Michael Yunez for producing and editing our podcast. I want to thank Kerrifique for amazing artwork. I want to thank Jakeneutron for our theme song. I want to thank Tunerific Tariq for being our co-host. And I want to thank Whitney Van Lanningham for being our amazing guest and talking Archer with us. And with that, you very much. See you next week.
See you. Bye-bye. Happy birthday, Jake. Happy belated.